Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to paint a lily. It's going to be a loose watercolor. I was playing around with a few different sketches yesterday, just trying to come up with something. And this was the third thing that I was sketching. I'm like, you know, I really kind of like that. I'm not happy with the way this turned out. But after doodling on a few more leaves today, I was like, you know, I think I can work with this. So I'm actually working in this book that's made with Arches watercolor paper that a viewer, customer, friend, Rosi sent me. It was very sweet of her. So I'm going to work in this because it's such lovely paper, and it's so nice to work in a sketchbook, I think. So I'm going to start off by sketching the lily, the flower. I'm using a color erase pencil, and I'm working with this blue. This is called light blue. And I was going to do this in pencil, just regular pencil, but I love the little hints of like this kind of cobalt teal I was putting in there, and I thought this might be really nice to have those hints in there already. So I'm going to start off by doing the main 3 petals, so 6 petals in all. So I put my biggest 3 down first, and this is really going to dominate a lot of the real estate here. And we'll get our other one. This one, I might fatten that up a little bit. You can erase a color erase pencil, but I try not to erase too much on my good paper because I don't want to risk marring it. Now we've got our other skinnier petals that go in between. Now I didn't sketch before I did the other one. Actually, I want this one to go up a little bit. I didn't sketch before I did the other one, so it was a little bit, I think it looked a little awkward. So I'm hoping that by sketching on this one, I won't have any of those awkward areas, maybe. And just get the stems for those, and that's really all I need to have, I think, for this. And I don't think there's anything I really need to erase because I'm going to be putting in, I'm just going to tip that away from the light so hopefully you can see just very, very light lines here. The brush I'm using is a Princeton Select number 6 pointed round. I picked this up at AC Moore. Oh gosh, back when they were opened. I think it was like probably last summer. And I'm using Paul Rubens watercolors. I'm just going to shift everything over here so that I can have this. Maybe that'll be good because then you can see my mixing area. I'm going to start off with, I'm going to take some really, really light pink. It's kind of like a, I would say, permanent rose or quinacridone rose. I'm going to add quite a bit of water to it. Really, really dilute it down. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to paint this petal. I'm just going to go in just very loosely and throw in some paint. This is not the most absorbent brush in the world, I'm going to tell you right now. But I do like it because you have that point which gives you really nice detail, and then you have that wider, almost like, I don't know, I'd say a little over ½ an inch wide base that you can like lay down color with. So I'm going to grab some of that same rose right from the pan. I'm going to add some of that in towards the center here. Just kind of bring it up, and then I'm going to grab some, I call it quinacridone violet. And if you have the Paul Rubens set that's in the pink, the big pink palette like this, those are the colors I'm using. But please feel free to use what you have because, you know, you probably have similar colors or you can find something close enough. All right. Again, I'm really watering down. I'm going to skip over to this next big one. Just pulling in, leaving it a little bit lighter at the middle there. And grab some of the kind of rose madder, permanent rose color. And going with the kind of mauvey violet color, real intense next to the center. Just let it kind of flow out on its own. Quinacridone colors a lot of movement, so they'll flow quite well for you. Then we're going to go over to this one. Oh, actually, yeah, we'll go to that one. I was just thinking, I want to do the bud, but I might just leave a gap when I'm working with that. Just a really, really pale color here, just to base it down and give some places for the paint to move. I think I did this one big. I must have done this one bigger than my original sketch because I did much more brushstroke stuff here. If you do like painting flowers, if you like loose watercolor, I have a course. It is Watercolor Floral Workshop. It's got a lot of different flowers to paint, and it's not a lot of drawing involved. Most of the lessons don't have any drawing involved, so it's more of learning how to handle your brush and be able to control it and you know, get the look you want that way. I think I'll go in, take both of those reds. I feel like I just want a little bit of a darker pit in here. Okay. I'm going to grab a little bit of cobalt teal. I like this set by Paul Rubens because I don't know if they call it a floral set. It has really nice floral, like colors for florals in it, and has good mixing colors in it. And I'm taking some liberty here with my colors, so if you're looking at the reference photo, I got the reference photo from Unsplash. I plan on linking it down below, but if I forget, I just went to Unsplash and searched Lily, and this came up. I'm going to grab a little bit of that pink. I'm not worried that my colors are bleeding at all. Not one bit. I'm going to grab some Hooker's Green. I have a little bit of like a warm, kind of like a gamboge or Indian yellow on my palette. I'm just pulling it in there to give it more of a sap tone. And I'm just going to throw in a stem, because I love it when my stem colors kind of blend and bleed in. Again, not in the reference photo, but I like it, so I'm doing it. You don't have to. And let's see, what did I draw that? Oh yeah, I don't like that. I put that, I think that must have been a stem that I was going to put in there. I have a line there that looks like I drew a petal there, and I do not like that, so we're just going to go ahead and change that. And I think while I'm waiting for things to dry, I'm just going to go ahead and do some more petals. I'm going to grab some more of that medium yellow, which was on my palette, which you didn't see me put out there because I had it left over from yesterday. Going to throw that right there. Going to grab some more Hooker's Green. Honestly, truth be told, Hooker's Green probably is a little bit more versatile than Sap Green. I'm also going to grab some Phthalo Blue or Prussian Blue. You can use whichever. I'm going to go with Phthalo because it will give me a little bit more of a pure color. I think that, you know, Hooker's Green, because it's a stronger, more pure green, it probably is a little bit more versatile than Sap Green, but, you know, you can use whatever you like. The Hooker's Green, you add a little bit of like a gamboge or an Indian yellow, and you've got the Sap Green. Let's see. I love to do leaves. Let's see, let's put one over here. I just love that lift and pull. This is a fun brush to play with too, because of that, because you've got this, you've got a fine tip, so you can paint your leaf either way. You could start at the tip and pull it back, or you could start at the base and pull it out. And I'm just altering my color a little bit each time so that I end up with a little bit of variety in my leaf colors. I don't know how long this is going to take. I'm just going to have fun and paint it, and hopefully they'll keep your attention. I love this loose style because I can really just kind of fill my space. I'm going to grab a little bit of that cobalt teal that we use because I think that'd be real pretty too. There goes my pencil rolling around. Look at that, isn't that fun? Just press and lift. Play with your brushes. Learn how your brushes do their thing. Learn the properties of your different brushes. That's probably one of the best pieces of advice I could give. Because once once you're comfortable with your brush, you don't even have to think about it. Because sometimes, like, I'll just be sitting around and be like, I don't know what to paint. I want to create, I want to do something, right? But I don't know what I want to do. And if you can, just sit down and, create some reliable strokes with your brush, you can do something, even if it's not, something quote unquote, big and important, you can still do something that, you can be happy with, happy about. All right, it's gonna look funny until we get those other leaves in there. So let's work on those a little bit. I'm gonna go back to our thinned down pink. I think when I did this, actually, when I did my sketch, I started off with the brown in the center because I knew I wasn't doing like a serious piece. I was just kind of like quickly wanted to get down some information. I just wanted to sketch and play, and that's what I started with. Just that thin down color. I don't even know why I'm going to refer to the reference photo because I've completely changed the perspective of this poor flower. Lilies have always been one of my favorite things to paint. I'm not sure why exactly. I guess I prefer personally the type of flowers that have larger petals versus flowers with smaller petals. I mean, I love painting lilacs. That would probably be the exception. But like I always find that like if I'm doing something like a hyacinth or a hydrangea, I always just kind of get bored before I can even get to the point where I'd want to get the detail done. I'm just kind of like, I'm over this, on to the next thing. But with like larger petaled flowers, I always find them just to be so like, I don't know, relaxing or something. They're just, I'm going to grab that magenta on its own, the violet-y color. It's real pretty. It's like a really super saturated mauve almost. And I know a lot of folks are kind of like afraid of watercolor because they're like, oh, my colors are bleeding together. It's a tragedy. And I really like that. I like the movement and how they flow, especially in the summer. It's just such a carefree medium. And July is World Watercolor Month, so hey, might as well enjoy it. Might as well embrace it. Ooh, look at that. That's dried enough that I can get some detail in there. Get a little bit more dark down here. And for those little specks on the leaves that I didn't put on the other one actually, and I think I'll do some, and you want this very, very thick. I'm going to do some phthalo blue, and I'm going to do some of that violet. You can get this palette that I'm using, by the way, without paint if you want to. There's so many requests for it that I asked the manufacturer if they would consider doing it because you guys asked so much to have that without the paint, and they agreed to. So they did release it without the paint, which is nice if you have like plenty of paint. You just really love the palette. I do because a lot of times I don't even need to get into the mixing area because there's so much area within the wells to thin down my color and whatnot. So that's really handy. I think this is a Stargazer lily. I could probably have that a little heavier on the pink side, honestly. I'm just picking it up right from the pan, that movie magenta color. I mean, it actually shows up more as just pink in the photo, but I feel like I wanted just a little more contrast and drama. I like drama in my art, my painting, not my life. Now, because these petals are a little wet, if I dab those on, they're going to bleed a little bit, so just keep that in mind. You can let it dry completely if you don't like any bleeding. All right. I'm going to give it just a little bit of green in the center. I want a real pale green. I'm going to do the, that same warm yellow. I'm going to do a little cobalt teal. And just kind of give a little bit of color there. Take that same color, I can add some detail on this bud. I need a little bit more purple in there too. I forgot to get a rag, so I just wiped my brush on my pants. I thought it was just water, so that's okay. That's where I wear black pants. I got just black cotton pants on. All right. What else do we need to do here? I feel like, you know what, I'd like to have some brown in that. I can mix a little bit in there too. I did grab some, but then no, just take your yellow and your purple, mix together, that will work. All right, and the last step is going to be putting those brown centers in there. I'm just going to give it a quick blast with my heat tool. Let's move that out of the way so we're not in the shadow. I don't need to dry the whole thing, I just need to dry that section where we're going to put our stamens in. And let's see, yellow, purple, that'll work just fine. As long as we get it dark enough. And we're just going to put some lines. I feel like I want that a little bit darker. Maybe I will dip right into that brown because I did grab it before I realized before. So what the heck? We'll just grab that right from the pan, so it's really thick, right? So see, did you see that? Was that in focus? I'm picking up from the dried paint, and that gives me a less runny, thicker, more opaque. It's not really opaque. It's just more concentrated paint. And I think I'm gonna call that a day. That was fun. That was quick. I think I squashed the flower a little bit to make it fit in my sketchbook, but I think it's fun. I think it's fun. It was fun. Hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this, and until next time, happy crafting.